been using since I was 13, didn't know what was behind it, went to prison, got out, and was like, oh, cool, I'm out, I'm changed. And you think that the willpower and the lust for life, appreciation for life is enough to be done with everything. But if you don't know what's behind what you're trying to disconnect or make easier, or make feel better, it can happen just on its own, but most times it doesn't.
This is a Dogs Train Home podcast, stories of second chances, one person and one dog at a time. And I'm your host, Vix Little.
Her mom was Scottish, so I guess,
Same difference.
Yeah, full, like.
Yeah, because in England, these are rich tea biscuits.
Okay.
And you dip them in tea.
Okay.
They're perfect for any other biscuit, like will fall in it and mold in it. These are great for dipping. So everyone knows that rich tea biscuits are made for dipping. If you have, when I give this to Blake, he says, can I have a cup of tea? And then our tea is not Earl Grey.
Yeah.
It's not black tea either. It's English breakfast tea.
Okay.
Then with milk and sugar.
That's exactly the way I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I have tea, I like it foo-fooed up. I like, in the morning, the Earl Grey or whatever.
Yeah.
And a little bit of creamer, a little bit of sugar. Yeah.
Right.
You're shedding all over me, babe.
And your knees from our pool.
Yeah.
How's the pool looking? Yeah.
Yeah. Always good.
Is it going to rain your way? Is it raining the whole of California?
I told them, actually, I got to text them in a little bit. I'm not going to go to San Diego, obviously. If it's raining, if I wake up and it's raining.
Oh, because it's coming into San Diego first, I think. Or is it Santa Barbara
I think
the
it's
other
just
way?
Going to be continuous. So if it does start to rain tonight and tomorrow, just, wait till.
That's why I've got all the stuff under there.
Oh, yeah.
It's really gloomy. I kind of like it gloomy, though.
Do you? Well, it reminds you of home.
Yeah. But a nice home, because you just get the gloomy for like 3 days.
Yeah. And but no rain.
Yeah, and the home is like you get it for like 6 months.
Yeah. Wow. I can't even imagine. I'm, born and raised Southern California, from LA to San Diego, and I mean, I'm reactive off the sunlight.
Yeah. I get it though, because nothing's made for the rain. So when the rain comes, it really messes stuff up. It's like in England,
especially the streets and the driving. Yeah, it's just horrible
because of the oil on the road. Yeah. It's not that people can't drive.
I can't drive.
I mean, people can't drive as well. But other than the fact that people can't, giving them grace, the oil on the road when it rains, that makes it so slippy.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Tango. This is your first debut. I normally put them in the bedroom. Eli. Oh, Eli, you can come here. Do you want to come here?
Oh, I love that.
You want to sit? You want
first episode with the babies?
The first one, because normally I put them up in the room because they bark. And this one, he won't stay here for long like this. He thinks he's small, but he's not really a lap dog.
Not fully, but
they both get like this, like overexcited. They don't know what to do with a little bit of, like, he won't lay here like this. I'll move, and he's like, this is too much.
He's like, I can't do this.
Touch me some more. This is too much.
Oh, look at this guy.
Okay, you can lay there, or you can go down there.
For letting me give you all this love, babe. I know.
The whole podcast will be just us going,
right? Loving dogs.
So yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
How long have I known you for now?
Oh my God. When did you move into this house?
Okay, I was pregnant. So 7 years ago. Wow,
yeah,
7 years ago.
For 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I remember, I don't know if I've told you this story. When you first walked up the drive, I was looking at you through the window, and I was like, no, this is messed up. And I text John, I was like, we have the American version of our friend Mark. Do you remember me telling him about our friend Mark?
I remember you telling me that. I don't remember the specifics though.
You used to always come with like longish shorts.
Like board shorts.
Shorts with a cap, sometimes backwards, and your like sleeve of tattoos.
Yeah.
I'll show you I don't know if I've ever shown you a picture of him. I'll show you a picture of him. You just look like him. He passed away a year after we moved here.
Yeah.
And I don't think I had, so he had passed away before we moved, obviously, to this house. So then when I saw you, I was like, Is this a sign? Like,
Yeah.
Marky? Marky, you're still here?
I think it was a sign. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then from then, we've just had signs and signs and signs and signs and signs because you're spiritual anyway.
Yeah. When we first met and you first bought the house, I was doing the pool and servicing the pool for the investment company.
Yeah,
Eventually, I guess, sold you the house. And oh my God, night and day from where I was at then. I mean, I mentioned it to you, where I was at then
yeah,
and what I was working through and what I was going through. And then where I'm at now, far from perfect, but
yeah.
yeah, night and day difference. And that was 7 years ago. That was
So do you think it was energy?
as far as,
Like, the difference that made the difference?
oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
It's all connected,
yeah.
energetic body, subtle energy, life force energy, all of that. Yeah, 100%. It's working
I
with
don't know if
that.
I've mentioned it so people who are listening
Huh.
know that you service our pool.
I
That
do. Yes.
that's how we met.
Yes, it is.
But you don't just then service the pool. You obviously service our pool. We came out, we talked, I'll talk to anyone. And then you do Reiki and healing. You end up being, well, you still are my Reiki healer.
Oh,
Um, we were just talking about you doing Reiki from before we had the house renovated. Um, then I've been to yours. We did
yeah.
the dowsing, the
Yeah. It was
clearing of
some
the
belief code work. Yeah, working through
belief
the
code work.
subconscious. Yeah.
Um, and the reason you're with us today also is because then through us becoming friends, I learned that you also spent some time in prison.
I did, yes. It's
And
not
I
always
it's
the first thing I
I
share, like,
know, I
"Hey, I
know.
do," it's nice to meet you. I'm servicing your pool and
But only in California, where okay, so you're my pool healer, my Reiki healer, and you've been in prison,
yeah,
and you're
that is
very
very
spiritual.
that is very California. I have a couple of customers actually throughout the last couple of years that oh, what sweetheart? A couple of customers that said the same thing,
Yeah,
this is
so
such a California
Californian.
thing. Oh, my pool guy also does Reiki and has an energetic, wellness business and all of this. And I guess, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
total California.
yeah. So, how long ago were you in prison?
I was in prison from the I had I believe, just turned 19. So I was on the run, avoiding detectives and cops for probably about 6 months,
Yeah,
and eventually turned myself in when I was, I believe I had just turned 19.
yeah.
And I ended up doing, all in all, 2 terms in prison for about 7 years. And the first term was, fighting the case for quite a while. And I mean, originally, when you get arrested for different things, it's they tack on every charge possible, and then
So I've
eventually
just
wither it down.
realized that. I didn't realize
Yeah.
that. I was having this conversation with someone the other day where, like,
Mm.
I was watching when I first moved here, I was watching a high speed car chase
Yeah.
and he was following all the rules. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And someone was like, yeah, because he's going to get arrested and charged for what his crime.
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to get there running a red light, not stopping at the stop
Yeah.
sign because it all will get tacked on as
Of
well. There's a
course.
camera watching him.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Of
oh,
course.
shit.
Yeah. So um when I signed my deal, it was for armed robbery.
Right.
So
Yeah.
armed robbery with a an enhancement. I It was a long time ago. I
Yeah.
forget the exact enhancement. So it was 5 years at because I had prior weapons charges
Yeah. Yeah.
for a gun and county jail time. So that was an enhancement, and then I believe it was great bodily injury because it was violent
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
So I signed for 5 years, fought everything down. Eventually, I mean, originally it was about 20. They're tacking everything on. It was about
Yeah.
20 years. They're trying to do 20 something. So I fought it down to 5 years at 85%, which means you do 85% of the 5 years if you have no write ups.
Right, okay.
So if your, time is clean and you have no, disciplinary stuff in prison, you'll be out 85% of
Yeah,
the five
yeah.
years. So what is that, sweet?
It's just so much.
And so yeah, I signed for 5 years and ended up maxing out the time doing because I got in quite a bit of trouble in prison, and then max at the time did 5 years, and then 3 years of parole, high control parole for a year,
Yeah.
and then my second term was um, because of my history, it was petty theft, and because of my history and the DA that I got and everything else, I remember she wrote on my my court paperwork that there was no deals, no anything, and she recommended 3 years mandatory state prison
That's
for
it.
petty theft
Because of what
because of
before.
having to strike, and then
And they can
it was a
take that
perfect culmination.
they
It was
can
just
take that into account, can they?
oh yeah, they'll take that into account first,
Like
like
your previous
history,
history.
whether you have a violent history.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up doing. I think I signed for 20 something months, maybe 32 months or somewhere around there. Um, and yeah, I ended up going to prison for that. But then they changed about, I'd say that a little over halfway through my second term,
Yeah.
they changed my some laws where if you were in prison for a nonviolent crime, which petty theft,
Yeah.
then your time gets cut. I forget what it was, maybe 50%
Yeah.
down to 35 or something like that. I forget
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
specifics, but I fell under that. So I ended up getting out, months before.
Right, we tried. We tried, and the reason I put you in the bedroom is because you just won't stop talking,
Okay.
and so I'm gonna walk you quickly up to the bedroom, okay? I know I don't you have no idea what I'm saying to you, but you do understand
He's
my
like, I know
energy.
something's going on.
Oh, at least he didn't
Thank you,
try and
babe.
bite me. Right, come on, quickly, let's put you up. You know the
Bye,
deal.
guys.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So we
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah, we did.
We
It worked out
tried.
for a while.
It worked out
Yeah,
for a
got to give
while.
Tango a lot of love.
Tango's
Yeah.
like, keep heading me. Oh. Um, don't worry about. I don't think the listeners can hear the a sense of
I don't
scratching
think
on the
so.
door.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let
They'll
me
stop.
out. Let me out. Um, right, yeah. So you did 2 stints.
I did.
So you weren't spiritual before all this.
Not at all.
It doesn't sound like you were spiritual before.
Well, not no, definitely not a legitimate spiritual person. I wasn't spiritual at all. I was so disconnected from myself and
Yeah.
just high all the time, which is just a coping mechanism for
Yeah.
dealing with something that's painful or uncomfortable.
Did you have addiction?
Oh, I everything that transpired from oh my gosh, from 17 all the way on, even
Was from
before
addiction.
that was just leading up to it. But it was 100% addiction.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna. So did you find theft was like an addiction? Because I got
Um,
caught for shoplifting when I was younger,
yeah,
and I can
it can
say
definitely be a rush.
yeah,
Yeah, it can be a rush
it
and a adrenaline kind of dopamine fix for sure.
it was difficult. It
Yeah,
was only petty, and I did get arrested
yeah.
and charged for it, but I was like in my teens. But I do remember every time I went into a shop, it was like,
Like, ooh, what can I get away with? Or
yeah,
you see the way the shop is, and you're like, I can
I
get
can
this.
do this. It
Of course,
was
it's
like
a
a
thrill,
little
of
bit of
course.
an
Yeah,
addiction, yeah.
yeah. It can
It was
definitely
only
be
the
an
fear
addiction.
of my dad eventually. I got caught
Ah,
and a shop manager was like, "I'm gonna call your dad."
yeah.
And I was like, "No,
You're
he's
like, okay,
gonna
I'm
be
done.
so bad." He never did, but
Yeah,
that was enough to like, the
yeah.
police
The
didn't matter.
punishment
Me
was
getting
far worse.
arrested didn't bother me. My dad
Yes.
was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no."
Yeah, it definitely can be.
Yeah.
My when I was 13, I probably started using crystal meth, and that was
Yeah.
I don't know, sometime in the 90s, mid to late 90s, and
Yeah.
started doing that, and that eventually um led way down the rabbit hole. But everything starts, it's you do it, and it's like, oh my god, this is fun, and I can do a line of whatever and
Yeah.
go out with my buddies, and I grew up in
The gateway.
probably one of the hardest places in the world, Coronado, which is just
Oh.
littered with gangs.
Oh, really?
Not
And
really.
where's
No, not really.
oh.
It's like so
I was like, "Wait, where's that?"
there was none of that, growing up in a horrible area,
Yeah.
and just, oh, it's, all my friends are involved in
Yeah.
this and this, and like I didn't know anybody that
Yeah.
was, I was in middle school, and everybody was, smoking weed, or,
Yeah.
at the time what was big up, like doing acid was
But this is what I always say. It can happen to
anybody, of
anyone.
course.
Like, I've done some shady things that if I could have landed me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
I didn't come from a bad area. I
yeah.
mean, everywhere in England's close to a bad area.
Well, same
It's
here.
so
I mean,
small,
everywhere in LA,
right?
if you go
Yeah.
10 blocks, it's a whole different
Exactly,
world. Yeah,
exactly. But
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't necessarily you don't have to be in the hood.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
The way I look at it. I mean, just from where I'm at now, and actually knowing more about myself now, and insight into why I was using, and just
Yeah.
how everything kind of unfolded was, it's what I did that was fun in the beginning just hit a spot in me that eventually became a tool. Like, it felt
Yeah.
okay. This feels great. I can be high for hours, and, just it was like the dopamine,
Yeah.
flush, and everything that's going on neurotransmitter wise, and it's like, cool, I'm outside, and, I'm with buddies, and we're just talking all night, and
Yeah.
it starts as that, which is, wonderful,
Yeah.
and it's fun, and then eventually develops into a tool, depending what kind of energy you have behind it. And
Yeah.
I wasn't at the time, so I was, I'd say, I think around 13, and had so much underlying animosity towards my mom for nothing. I
Yeah.
blamed her all subconsciously. Like, I didn't realize this till later, but whole life, just something underneath that, something about her would rub me the wrong way,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I couldn't explain what. And then, there was something that blamed her for her and my dad's divorce, and,
Yeah.
I grew up just idolizing my dad, and, felt sorry for him, which it's not
Yeah.
one sided. It's
There's
it's
always
but it's
2.
how I, perceived their divorce, and it's,
Yeah.
and then so just me growing up not comfortable in myself, not safe being, with my mom, and just this kind of animosity, and not comfortable around people, and sensitive to, like, to crowds, and
Mhm.
just everything else, and real self-conscious and awkward. All of this just led to, like, okay, here's a tool. Let's do this, go a million miles an hour and disconnect, and this feels great.
Yeah.
Eventually it becomes such a habit that, you're not sleeping at night, and you're burned out the next, even as a kid, and
Yeah.
burned out the next day, but it still
But
feels
you don't know
better
what
than
that
being
is as
present,
well. Yeah.
being department,
Mhm.
my mom, or it still felt better than that, even though I'm just,
Yeah.
you know, burned out. And I can remember falling asleep in class and just taking the desk with me because I, fell asleep, and just
Yeah.
everybody's looking like, and I'm the only person I knew in middle school that was even doing that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's middle school as well.
it's
How
middle
old
school.
is middle school again?
I think I was 14, 13.
Yeah.
I think seventh grade starts at
That's
like
about the time
14,
we go
somewhere
to our
somewhere around there.
secondary school. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, which is about the time I went off the
yeah,
rails.
yeah. And yeah, eventually it just became into, it was developed as something fun, to a
Yeah.
tool to disconnect, and to feel good,
And
and kind
and
of,
our brain isn't fully
yeah,
functioned, so
yeah. And then it became a habit. And
yeah.
yeah. So that's when that
So you did
started.
your first stint, and that obviously didn't send you down the spiritual route.
Well, here's the thing. That did actually send
Oh,
me down. How it started was, I remember in county jail, and I was, um, for the crime that I was, or turned myself in and arrested for, happened in San Diego.
yeah,
So that happened in San Diego, and, my buddies and I was always going from LA to San Diego, and this and that, and criming and making money, and whatever we were doing at the time, to make money.
yeah,
And it happened in San Diego, but I lived in LA, and so it was just back and forth to San Diego, and I wanted to turn myself in, so I turned myself in San Diego to avoid LA County, because LA County is, especially for a white dude,
it's LA County.
it
Yeah.
sucks. So, if my charge is over there,
Yeah,
I drove myself to San Diego, saw my mom, told her exactly, our
mm,
relationship was really strained. Told her exactly what was going on. I was
mm,
high at the time, and told her I'm fighting a lot of years, and I'm turning myself in because I don't want to do this anymore.
yeah.
And
Was
and that
she
was the last
supportive?
time I didn't even sleep that night. She didn't sleep that night. That was actually the last time I ever saw her, was when I told her that to turn myself in. So did that and then turned myself in and went to county jail in San Diego, fought the case. I started kind of they say there's no atheists in foxholes. Like
Yeah.
it's when I was fighting that and I'm scared of that, and you kind of like you're in jail, but I might not even get out of jail
Yeah.
for decades. So like I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. There's a lot of fear. They in this one little spot, there were a couple guys, which they're not the cool kids in jail, but a couple guys that were reading the Bible and this and that.
Yeah. No one's
And
a
I
cool
got
kids
interested
if
in
you're
that because it kind of gave me like a hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if the worst case scenario over here, and so you don't get out for 20 something years, let's go over here because maybe oh, this beautiful thing, that there's hope and there's afterlife and all of this. So I kind
Yeah.
of started reading the Bible, but there was enough politics, in jail and then just distraction with what you're fighting, going to court and this and that and everything where it didn't really sink in. But that was the first time I was like, okay,
Yeah.
started reading the Bible a little with them, but it really didn't go anywhere because there was too much going on. But it kind of
Yeah.
planted a little bit of a
The
seed.
seed, yeah.
And then yeah, my first term was when I really it was powerful, it was beautiful, it was expansive, it was terrifying, it was like everything. It was stressful.
Yeah.
Um so I had a cellie that was Christian. And this is I could see it now how everything happened, which
Yeah.
is beautiful, perfect, the universe protecting me and laying everything out.
Yeah.
So I had a cellie that was Christian, and I was when I started my first term, I was level 3, which there's 4 levels in prison. Level 3 because of my charge and crime and the years, everything, it gave me enough points where first level 1 and 2 are minimum security,
Yeah.
and level 3 or 4, 3 is maximum security, level 4 is, as
Really
high as you can
max.
go, and then
Yeah.
um so I started level 3, and then the first reception prison in prison got into a riot, bumped my points up a little bit, but went to Sentinella, which at the time was pretty active. It's a prison in somewhere in the desert, a little bit inland.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nobody.
No one knows what.
Yeah, but I remember going there. It was like, oh, it's a gladiator school, and this is like, which so it's all that changes depending on the time, depending on the prison. Everything shifts. It depends like who's on that yard and how things go in the politics, everything else. So I landed there, and it's there's nothing. It's kind of a just a dirt yard, and there's nothing really going on. And I landed a Christian cellie, and when you're on a yard that's supposed to be jumping, like
Yeah.
politically jumping and racially jumping and like
Yeah.
that, you don't really want a Christian
Yeah.
cellie that's, reading the Bible all
Doesn't
day. And,
really
and
do
it's,
much for your like
yeah,
your
yeah, it's like, oh, this is jumping off. And, but my cellie's reading the Bible with
yeah.
me. Like, so if the door pops and all this stuff goes on, it's like, I know it's just me,
Yeah.
which is not what anybody there wants, especially, on a level 3 where it's
Yeah.
active. So, um, I had him as a cellie, and then we I would do my thing. I didn't have any homeboys, at the first prison in San Diego. I had homeboys from a tagging prison and
Yeah.
some other stuff. A lot of people I knew, and it was more like, oh, let's drink wine and let's tattoo and let's
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
And it's like 10 of us walking the yard. And like it was different and smoking cigarettes all day, and it was different.
Yeah.
Here it was like,
Youth
okay, I
on your
didn't
own.
really know anybody. I had no homeboys on the yard. So it's me and my cellie. And I remember um there was just a random cell search where they
Yep.
take us out in boxers and handcuffs, sit us on the benches down in the day room, and then they,
Deep sleep.
check different blocks of cells. So they checked our cell, and then I'm like, okay, he's a Christian, so obviously he's got nothing. I just got there. I have nothing. I don't have a knife.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. And then they called our names, pulled us aside, and then took us into the hole, and we're like,
Stop.
so they found something in the cell,
No,
and it
from
turns
the
out, yeah, and it turns out there was a knife that somebody had made and put in the cable box, like where the cable outlet
was it
is.
his or did he not
No,
know?
it was not it. He didn't know about it.
Oh,
So
so he was a good Christian. He
yeah.
wasn't a masking Christian.
No, he was he was a dedicated Christian.
True. So that they left it a
They left it.
shank, as
Yeah,
they're called.
yeah. So it was a shank. I think it was an actual. It was a like a nail, like
Yeah.
a nail that they probably got from some kind of shop in the back. And
But
it
then
was a,
did that get attached to you? Did they believe it
oh
was
yeah,
you?
because they can't unless one of the cellies
And
says, "Oh, it's mine," which wasn't mine, it wasn't his. Plus,
yeah.
nobody's probably gonna do that anyway.
Yeah.
So they just took us both to ADSEG, which is administrative segregation, which kind of like the bullet hole or
Yeah.
like a jail or waiting room in prison.
Yeah.
So they took us there and then told us, we got the paperwork says we found this in your cell, and we're just like,
Fucked.
yeah, we're
Well.
like, okay, yeah. So I'd just gotten there, I'd just been there like a couple of months, and so you get the the paperwork, and how that goes is if there's enough evidence, they'll send it to the district attorney for that county. And then
Yeah.
if the district attorney wants to pick it up and they think it's a slam dunk case, they can pick it up in court and take you to court and give you a whole nether actual case where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, if I'm doing 5 years and they give me this case, they can give you that case. And if you're found guilty for it, they can give you whatever, the
Yeah.
charge is. So that can be an extra 5 years on top of your years. So that's what you don't want is a DA referral. That means they have enough evidence where they're going to send it back to court, and then you go back to court, fight that, and you're fighting a whole new criminal felony
Yeah.
case. So that's the first thing you don't want. So we're just like in ADSEG, and we're hoping not for that, not for that. And we're trying to think everything we can is like going off their report, um, how they found it and what officer found it and how long, when was the last cell search that
I was
it could
about
have
to
been in
ask
there.
that.
We're
Yeah.
trying to like, because you got nothing else to do. We're in the hole. So it's
Yeah.
just like we have nothing. We're like in our boxers and
Do you have access to the library at that
oh,
point?
nothing.
Oh
Nothing.
man.
I think you can get access to some kind of
Mm.
library if you get put on the list.
Yeah.
We didn't even try. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, both of us looking at this, like
Yeah.
it would be like any defense, counsel or lawyer trying to find loopholes
Yeah.
and this to make it not a, slam
Yeah.
dunk case. So we're trying to do that and going over this and that and everything else. And then we're going every now and then to I don't remember if it's a captain or whoever it is, but somebody, for our prison kind of like court case. It's
Yeah.
just between us and the guards and
In house.
yeah, the higher ups, so in house. So it didn't get a DA referral, which is okay, great. So we're not getting extra time,
Yeah.
but we did get found guilty, um, both of us
Because they
for
have to.
having,
Yeah.
that in prison. So that like I don't remember if that maxed my time out because remember I had 85%
Yeah.
if everything went good and there's no like disciplinary stuff. So we both got found guilty for that. So that bumped my points up because for every disciplinary,
Yeah.
thing you get in prison, you get your points bumped up. And then you get whatever they take away from your good time. So ended up I don't know if that maxed me out or not, but it gave me, more months on my sentence out of the 5 years.
Yeah.
And then we went to this is where the spiritual kind of takes off is
Yeah.
being with him in the hole for I don't remember, it was a couple months, whatever, when, we're going through the whole thing. And I don't know what it was, but I don't know if at the time it was like fear
Yeah.
or just something comfortable or something like needed some kind of hope or something. But he would ask me, he's like, "Do you want to pray with me? Do you want to this and that?" And it was funny because where I was at, um, I'd say, "Okay." And then we pray together, and there was something in me that was like, he'd start praying, and I'd get furious. I would get like mad, and I'd worry that somebody could hear him,
Yeah.
because when you're it's like all the cells are right here.
Yeah.
Hear him doing that, and like I'd get worried what they think
Think.
like of
Yeah.
me and this
Yeah.
that because in prison it's all garbage,
Mhm.
but it's all about reputation and your word and who you are if you're a good man or solid dude or whatever. So I was like worried about that, and then just there's something about it that made me mad. It like hit a spot where I'm like I would get mad, and then I'd get like nowhere to go. So I'd get quiet, and then we get awkward in the cell, and he'd feel me, and I'd feel him, and it was just,
Because yeah, you feel your energy is like,
yeah.
dude,
I
like,
don't know anything about energy. I just knew like, okay, this is
yeah,
pissing me off. Like I don't know what
yeah,
it is. Um, but after months of that, and then we moved to, I started to like change. There started to be shifts. I couldn't really put my finger on it
yeah,
what it was, but I did start to pray with him more, and read the Bible with him, and get into it more.
yeah,
And so when we went to the shoe, I believe it was in the shoe. Well, when we went to AdSeg, when we were almost done with AdSeg, it was like there was somebody that got brought into AdSeg for the whites, that was some kind of shot caller. Came off some different yard that had,
yeah,
called the keys for the yard. So he was somebody higher up, and he sent us like hi, like a little note, under the door that said, hey, I'm dude to dude. I just want to introduce myself, my selling eye, and this and that. We got, whatever if you need, like coffee or
yeah,
whatever. And he's like, are you two down for, if something cracks off or whatever, you guys down to, to be there?
yeah,
And I remember my cellie said, he's like, I'm not down. And that caused me
yeah.
so much stress where I'm
It's
like,
all on me again.
I'm like, he said, no, he's like, no, I'm not gonna. He's like, I don't care what's going on. Like, I'm not part of whatever. And that caused me so much stress because you want to fit in and you want like
Yeah,
good reputation. And you're like, I got 5 more years or
yeah.
like 4.5 more years to do. And I'm like, so it was just stressful. And I eventually, there was something about it where I eventually sent the kite. I said, just send it. There's something, I don't remember what it was, but I said, just send it.
Saying no,
Say
you're not
no.
going.
Sent it. We were ostracized, which is the most stressful. So like ad said, you're ostracized, nobody's talking to you, and we were supposed to have a hard yard with with all of us on the hard yard is like in kind of like concrete enclosure, and where you all kind of, you know, get outside time together,
Yeah.
certain cells or like certain
Oh,
races.
so you have to
I forgot
see
how
them
it
out
worked in
there.
AdSeg at the time,
Mhm.
but I was so they're like, okay, you have, we're gonna take you out or have yard or whatever in a certain amount of time. I was so stressed, and my celly's
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna, or no, he wanted to go, but he was just gonna, walk around and
Yeah.
and so stressed. And I knew there's something I knew like once we're all out there,
They're gonna kick off.
yeah, we're green lit. So like whatever happens, because we told him like, no.
Yeah.
The minute it opens up, every other door opens up except ours for some reason cracks like this and it just breaks. So I'm like, okay, and they say, I forget whatever cell we were. They said, yeah, you guys aren't going out. The door's broken. So everybody else went out to yard except our door. So it didn't open at a time when I'm like, we're gonna go out there and
You're gonna get whacked.
whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Like whatever gotta do, whatever happens, happens. So that happened, and that was the first thing where
That's someone was
I'm like,
looking out for
okay,
you
but
guys. Yeah.
we're human, and it's like, oh, that's coincidence,
Mhm.
cool. I thank God, but so
Literally, thank God.
yeah, so that happened, and then we got moved just randomly. Like, okay, we have to work on your door. And we got moved to a different block. Um, we got moved to a different block, and then something happened. They got like where we got locked down, so there's
Yeah.
no communication, no way that that block could
Could
send a
talk to
kite
that block.
to the new
Okay.
block,
Mhm.
and then we ended up moving. So we were locked down with there's no communication, nobody, no porters, no anything to get word from here to here,
Yeah.
and then we ended up transferring to the shoe. So the shoe is security housing unit, I believe security housing unit. It's a hatch fee we to do our shoe term. So I don't
Yeah.
remember if it was like 6 months, 8 months. And that's all political. That's
And
like
this was all from that them finding the
finding a knife. Yeah.
jeez.
So you get bumped up in points, and then if you have something like that, like a serious offense in
You
prison,
go to,
you
like,
you
the
go to a
inside
shoe term, which is like
jail
a
and
prison
then
in
the
prison.
shoe, right.
It's like a prison in prison.
Mhm.
So we went to the shoe term, did our shoe term attach fee, and it was like, um, it's like, yeah, it's all political.
And do you get time when you're do they let you out with yard time when you're in the shoe?
So the yard time in the shoe, we didn't get it for months. I don't know whatever happened, or they don't want to do it, or so we didn't get it for months. But when we do get it, you're put in like dog kennels, like they're like cages that are I don't remember how many, 10 or I don't remember the length, how many, but it's like you see it, a dog, like
In like the rescues?
yeah, like rescues. It's like cage, 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 and they're all lined next to each other, and then you have cages over here that all face each other. So you have to go out. My cellie was like, whatever the word hadn't come from
Yeah,
AdSeg to Tehachapi, about us. So it was like, I'm like, okay. And I told him, I said, that was, whatever happened here, like,
lucky.
you stay in the cell, I'll like, because in the shoe, it's just all political. It's all garbage, but it's all political.
Yeah,
So, every race in the morning, you have to do a roll call. They'll call you out, say, Nick and, whoever, good morning, comrades, if you're active in your skinhead, or if you're just, a white dude, they'll say like, good morning, Woods, or I forget what it is. But you have to do the roll call in the morning, which I hated because you got to get up early and I want to sleep in. So I would get up early. He didn't want to take part in it. So I would get up early and do the roll call and call out. And then
and this is the roll call amongst you
amongst
guys.
whites, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you do that, and then the Sureños, or Mexicans and blacks, like
And that kind
everybody
of,
will do their own. I don't
does that tell everyone whose group you're in?
Yeah. Well, it's who's good and
Yeah.
good. So we do the roll call and then you got to work out in the cell and then call it out. You have for whites, it's like you like 123 burpees and or whatever.
Yeah.
Call it out, and but when you go to yard, you they'll take a certain amount of cells at a time. So you go to yard and you're handcuffed. You have to squat and cough and do the
Shit.
so they can search you, and then they'll handcuff you, and then they walk you in the cage and then handcuff you, and you have to work out in the cage, and whoever.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
really
just
any yard
you have
time, is
to,
it?
yeah.
It's just
There's not yard time. It's like a
yeah.
small cage, but you have to work out.
Yeah.
And I remember it would be snowing in Tehachapi, and it was like snowing, and you get these like little white Teletubbies suits, and it looks so ridiculous. You go out there, and everybody's just in their boxers and just doing burpees in the snow, and it's so stupid. Yeah,
But it's live for you
it's
at the
like that's
time,
what it
yeah.
is, and it's like you get yeah. So I did that for months, and then once we got out, it's called a 180 yard, which I think is just the way it's designed. So like
All
it's a
right.
180 level 4 180 yard, which is where you go when you get out of the shoe. So it's like
Mm.
higher than high of a 4 yard, level 4 yard. So it's like a shoe kick out yard. So
Right.
everybody that's on that yard is coming out of the shoe
Yeah.
for whether it's a stabbing or this or
Yeah,
that. So it's
yeah.
like that yard. So there were 2 white cells in the whole block. So we got there and the whole block was locked down. And I, I remember it was like we were locked down, and my son and I were there, and we didn't get different places. You got to wait for TV, wait for belongings if you can get a TV. We're locked down because there was a racial thing between whites and Mexicans.
Yeah.
So we're locked down until they make sure like they think everything's
Gosh.
fine.
Yeah.
So I remember that we got a note from the other white cell who had to be the shot caller, or happened to be the shot caller for the
What's the shot
whites.
collar?
Whoever has the keys like runs everything for that yard for your race.
Right.
So he was right below us. So it's us, and we're the white cell up here, and then him and the white cell down here. So he shot us something, and I forget exactly, whatever. I think, yeah, it was. He shot the same note up, that we got
Yeah.
in that
Are
said,
you
"Are
ready
you
to
guys
go?
down? Like
Yeah.
if this and this and."
And how'd you get the notes up there?
That's a long thing. It's when you're locked down, you can, I think on that lockdown there would be what's called a porter, like
So you'd slip him.
coming around, you just slip him that and say, hey,
Mm.
can you take this down there, whatever, and he'll do that. In the hole of the shoe, you make what's called a car, and
Mm.
then it can be peanut butter packet full of soap, or it can be like a piece of a shoe
Yeah.
or something, and then you take like you take sheets, like the thread from the sheets, and you kind of weave it so it becomes like a little rope or a cord,
Yeah.
and then you just you get good at it.
Throw
You
it
just
where
throw
you're
it under the
going.
door,
Yeah.
slide it in you only got that much room, so you slide it under the door, and like you get good at fishing, and they'll slide
Skills,
theirs
man.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
It's
tell you,
like,
that's a whole other episode.
yeah.
You get creative. But yeah, I did that, and the note came up, and I told, I talked to my cellie, and we both said,
Still with the same guy?
still the same guy. We both got out at the same time, same
Right.
cell, because they have to sell you with your race when you're, in
Right,
cells in
yeah.
California, because it's all racial and political.
Yeah.
Other states aren't like that, but here they are. So we had a cell. We were both in there. We got the note, and we told the dude no. He's like, yeah, this and this, like things once the door opens, um, things are gonna crack off. So are you guys down? And we said the
Nope.
no. We're like, we're good. And then I was so stressed
Oh
again.
god. But that's so
And
strong inside of you, knowing that you could be putting yourself,
I
but
mean,
you did the right thing.
there was I mean, it was, for me, it was like, it was more, I don't know what it was that actually let me go through with that, because there was more like, I'm 19.
Yeah.
I have years to do in prison. You want to be accepted.
Yeah.
You want to have your tribe. You don't, especially in prison, it's like everybody on the street, you want your people, you want your
Yeah.
connection, you want your friends. Like, you want to have friends, and
Security.
just all of that. Everybody
Mhm.
wants their tribe and to flow, but in prison you really need it.
Mm.
And it was like, I don't there's a huge piece of me that was stressed and was kind of mad at myself for even pushing this.
Yeah.
But it was the universe definitely putting me with him, whatever the situation, however that unfolded, for me to have enough conviction to say, okay, to not be a part of
Yeah.
whatever. And so we got that note again, and then we got the 5-minute yard thing, and I did not want to go yard,
Oh.
but I said, whatever's, you know gonna happen is gonna happen. And I remember going to yard, and I had like a magazine that we had, that I put under here,
Just to try and protect
just
any
in case, like,
stabbing.
put a magazine here, just going down to the day room, because every other cell was Mexican.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, nobody knew, like, are things still jumping off, or are they not, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's so stressful. So, like, that, and then everything was fine in the yard, and there was nobody talked to us, but there's only like that white cell, but so nobody talked to us. And I was only there for like a month or a couple of months. It was stressful. Most of the time was locked down. I think we only got like 2 yard days. And then going to yard, I my cellie stayed inside, and I was just walking the yard, and it wasn't that I was part of this group, but it was the white dudes. Were all walking in front of me, and I remember it was like two skinheads, and then one older dude that's been doing time for like 30 years. So
Yeah.
obviously he's in level 4, and he's still there. So he's good
Not going
reputation and everything.
anywhere, yeah.
So I'm just walking the track, and just get some fresh air and everything. Walking the track, and all of a sudden, right in front of me, the two skinheads just start stabbing the dude in the neck, like just right in front of me, just start stabbing him in the neck. Throw
The old guy?
the old guy, older, not old, but
But the
like
one that yeah.
built, and like the mustache. You can tell he's been doing time for a long time,
Yeah.
and just started stabbing him in the neck and throwing them, through the knives, and started beating him down. And I tried to like back, because I know how it works when something happens. They
Yeah.
just, if it's serious enough, they'll fire off,
From the
like
towers.
smoke bombs, or
Mhm.
if they see weapons, it's like more serious.
Mhm.
They'll fire off other stuff, like mini 14s or whatever. But it was like, I'm like, okay, I'm stepping back, and then you see just the alarms go. All these, I forget whether it's mace or pepper spray or whatever, but firing off all these canisters of everything, and everybody's moving away from the situation. There's just smoke everywhere. And so I'm trying to like scoot back, because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be around. Like,
I
so
just said I don't wanna
I try
fight.
to scoot back, and then I see the dudes that are involved scooting back, and I'm like,
Oh,
so I'm trying to like, I'm on my stomach trying to scoot back even more, because I don't want to be wrangled up in it. And then uh, the dude in the tower is like, yeah, him too. And I'm like, once they start handcuffing everybody, and they take dude out that's all bloody and just bleeding everywhere, and
did they grab you?
they grabbed me, and they said, "Oh, this white guy too."
You're like, "I'm just white."
And then so they throw me back in AdSeg,
Oh,
and now I'm fighting attempted murder in prison, which I
part of
wasn't even involved in. I was just, yeah. So that uh
and your guy, where was he?
he was in the cell. Yeah.
Oh, he was like, "He's not
So
stupid,
that
so
was
I'm not going
that
out."
long story short, that was my second shoe term. And and for something I didn't even do, but there's a divine reason for that. As far as the way my term went, as far as like keeping me safe and how everything happened.
Yeah.
It's it the further along I got in my term, it was obvious how things happen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm safe. This happened over here, which is stressful and could have been this, but this happened anyway, even though at the time it looked like, even more stress where it's like, oh my God, am I, going to get taken to the DA for attempted murder in prison? Like, what does
Yeah.
this guard in the tower think he saw me do? Or like, why am I in this?
Yeah.
So there's that fear, but through it all, it's like you look and it's like, okay, I was positioned exactly where I needed to be to keep me safe. Like, however that looked, however that
Yeah.
looked. So
Because
that I
if
ended up
you had
doing,
been in front of them, they might have been like, "Oh, he's
I don't know.
an easy
So it
target."
turns out what I found out in AdSeg, it's neither here nor there, is it's just the way prison works. Is the dude that got stabbed? It turns out the guy that had the keys for the yard that was right below us in that cell block, owed the guy that got stabbed like $50 or $100 for drug debt. And so
Mm.
the guy that owed the money that had the keys told those skinheads like, yeah, you know, um, I got proof that this dude's a rapist and blah blah blah. He's been doing time for 30 years.
Oh,
So that's how that happened.
yeah.
But it's just the way prison works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you get off from the
I
drug?
didn't. I didn't get a DA referral, so I didn't get taken back to court for a whole new felony charge, but I did get found guilty
And that
of.
maxed your time out?
Oh, that fully maxed my time out, but that gave me, I don't remember the amount of points that gave me. So I was level 4 forever,
Oh,
but
man.
there's a the interesting thing was, yeah, I ended up going to the shoe, and then again, I think I don't remember how I pretty much the rest of my time was almost in the shoe. It was like another
Yeah.
year to 2 years in the shoe, 18 months or something, whatever it was. But in the shoe, here's another beautiful, like, divine intervention moment
Yeah.
where which really kind of another piece in it that solidified, like, wait, something's going on here was,
Yeah.
I was in a cell with I had a Bible. They give you it's, floating around so you can ask for a
Yeah.
Bible or whatever. So I had a Bible and you have nothing to do all day. So you're just in the cell, there's nothing to do. So you might as well just read or,
Yeah.
work out or whatever. The cellie I had, which is the only open spot in in no, this is an ad sig right before it shoots. So when I just got found guilty, um, the cellie I had hated Christians. He was like
The polar
hated
opposite from your
He
last
was
selling.
big. He was like 6'3". I
Oh,
remember his name. I don't use he was like 6'3", and, hated Christians, like, would talk he's like, "Oh, the Bible," he's like, "What?" This and
yeah.
that, and just like, he'd pace around, and the more he saw me read, like, just reading, and
Yeah.
I'm tactful enough, and I can read people well enough even back then, where the room, like, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, do you know
Do
Jesus?" Like,
you wanna pray with
yeah,
me?
I'm like, I wasn't even that. I wasn't even that person. Like, I'm just reading
Yeah.
the Bible. I'm not like I wouldn't even call myself a Christian. I was
Yeah.
just here's a Bible. I have 24 hours a day
I'm gonna read it.
with absolutely nothing. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna read it. But every time he'd pace, he would get more and more furious. And I don't mention anything about the Bible. I'm just like trying to talk to him about stuff that I know he's into, like, oh, on the street, what do you do? Or this and that, or oh, cool, you're from I don't know where he's from, Fresno or
Yeah.
something. Like, what do you like to do? Like trying to meet him on his level, just to have some conversation so it's not quiet. And he would just get more and more and more heated every time he just would see the Bible, like, anywhere.
Anywhere near you.
And I felt so like knew what and this dude was big and I'm thinking I'm laying in bed like I'm not sleeping. I'm thinking, is this dude
Gonna do something.
is he gonna like just bomb on me in my sleep or like what is this gonna do? And then as I didn't sleep the next day, they took me out. The cops pulled me out of the cell and they said, "Hey, um we found intercepted like a kite, like a note from the head of this yard that has your name in it saying that you're greenlit once you get back to the yard after your shoot term, that you're greenlit because I told them
No.
I'm good, like I'm not going to handle business for you." So they pulled me out of the cell the next morning when I was worried about what was going to happen between me and my cell. Am I going to have to just get down with him and in the daylight to get pulled out? Like, what's going to happen. And they pulled me out the next morning and said, hey, we found this, intercepted this. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay where you're at and then go back to the yard? You want us to just like, we have to tell you about this
Yeah.
because this is from, I don't need to say whatever group, but like,
Yeah.
the higher ups that they intercepted. So the minute I go back to the yard, because I told them, go whatever yourself, I'm like, the minute I touch the yard,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You're going to be like the
they're
dude
like,
with
do you
the
want to stay
moustache.
here? And at that, I'm like, I got this whole path. I'm like, I got nothing to prove, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to earn my stripes. I'm not anything. So I said, no, I'm good. And they said, okay, well, so what this means is you're not going to be active anymore. I said, fine. I said, okay. And so that was right as I was waiting for a place to open up for my shoe. So I went, I think it was Tehachapi, back to a different yard for the shoe. I think they have 2 yards. Went to a different yard, and because I was like in limbo of being what's called active and not active, or like they
So what's active and not
so
active?
active. If you're on an active yard, is like you're playing the politics. It's like, okay, I'm white, and if shit, stuff jumps off, obviously I'm down, and boom, boom, something needs to be handled. Cool, I handle
Yeah.
it, for whatever. Or this guy's got bad paperwork, I'll take care of it. Like,
Yeah.
that's active. So you're actively like playing a game. Not active. Where I was at was, so when they give me the option, it's like, okay, PC or SNY. Do you want to be? Do you want to go back to the main yard? And I said no. And then they said, okay, so what this means is we have to put you in protective custody. And I'm like, fine. And so
So
there was like a
so
pride,
the guys know
a
about
pride
this.
thing with that, because all you hear in prison is like, oh, if you're PC, it means you're, whatever, like you're, a rapist or a child,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, so they give me that
Okay.
option. They're like, you can stay on the yard and, whatever, if you want to, pretty much, if you want to prove yourself and you're like, want to remain a good
Yeah.
dude and try to like, or we can take you off the yard and make you PC. I said, fine, do it. So
Yeah.
how that happened was they pulled me out, and when I did my shoe term, I was single celled. I did like my whole shoe by myself,
Oh,
and then that was it. Paroled, and yeah. So I did like I
so the
I was single
COs and the
celled.
cops know all about all this,
Yeah,
like the politics of
yeah.
the
Oh,
active,
and the
non-active
cops are their own little game as
gang.
well. Like, yeah, I don't need to get it, but the cops
Yeah.
have their thing going on as well. But so yeah, when I did my shoe, and I don't remember if it was a year to like 16 months by myself, because in the shoe, there's like, I didn't get a TV for a year. I didn't get, it was, so it was like walking. Tehachapi has big cells too. So it was just walking the cell, and like for a year, like nothing, single celled, like in the cell for a year.
Shoot.
So,
But if you're up
and
there,
then
so they
parole.
just presume that you're like hippie fiddler or something because you're in that type of. But do people actually know if you did come out? Did they know what you did?
Oh, the cops know
But the
what
inmates
somebody's in there
wouldn't.
for right away. And the
Mm.
cops, um, on yards like those, the cops will. There are still prison gangs. There are a ton
Mm.
of prison gangs on SOY yards. Um, but the cops will tell, these prison gangs like, oh, this guy's here for this,
Yeah.
even though everybody in that yard is in a prison gang.
Yeah.
But it's just they don't have the politics of regular yards. So still prison gangs, but these are prison gangs that aren't allowed on regular yards. So the cops will still tell these prison gangs like, oh, this guy over here is here for this charge, like has an R in his
Yeah.
jacket. And then those prison gangs will still handle that. Like they'll
Yeah.
take care of, yeah.
It's crazy because we were talking about this a few weeks back about society.
Yeah.
It's its own living, breathing
It is.
society, and you need to learn the
Yeah.
rules really quickly.
Yeah. And
That's crazy.
everywhere you go, I mean, there's an underlying basic politics, but everywhere you go is totally different. It's like being in, San Diego. It was
Yeah.
for however long I was there, it was like me and all my buddies and like playtime and party. And you
Yeah.
look forward to going to the yard, and it's like a yard that is what's called a programmer yard, where everybody has jobs. And
Yeah.
so they're doing
Yeah.
something. And so there's money, floating around the yard, and more freedom. And because everybody has jobs, it's like there's less political stuff and less racial stuff, because
Yeah.
nobody wants to lose their job. Everybody's like, okay, if I'm doing 10
Careful.
years, I get a job, something I do every day. It pays me. nothing.
Yeah.
It's like 11 cents an hour or whatever,
It's a purpose.
but it pays something. And then you have like a cell that you've been in for a while. So it feels like home and you got it
Yeah.
all done up the way you want and it looks good and clean and like, so it's more of like a
Yeah.
programmer yard where nobody wants to go there and just create a bunch of stuff where everybody gets their stuff taken. Like they
Yeah.
just want to program. So that was different. And it was fun. And then you go to a place that has like no program and
And
no
it's
jobs. And then there's
survival.
more problems. And yeah, it's just like everywhere you go is different, but it's the underlying politics.
Yeah.
And the higher you go, the more politics are.
And was there any programs in the prison you were in? And that was your second term, right?
That was my first term.
That's the end of the first
That
term.
was how the first term ended. Yeah. Second term was yeah, I just went, when I got arrested and then they said, "Yeah, we're gonna give you 3 years of state prison." I was like, you know,
You're like,
yeah.
how, like, why did I do this?
Oh my god, well, it was drugs, again, it was
Yeah.
drugs. It was like everything the first term was like, I wouldn't have done any of it. I wouldn't have been even in the group that I was into. I wouldn't have been a part of any of it if I was sober. 100%. It was like
Yeah.
the drugs, the minute I would get high, my
Mhm.
mind would want to do criminal
Yeah.
stuff. It's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, "Oh, I don't need this job. Now let me get guns and run around and,
Quick money, easy.
make money." And,
Yeah.
like, I don't need any of that. It's like, I have a job,
Yeah.
but now let me get high and then let me just figure out
How to get more
how to do
money.
this or how to
Yeah.
do that, and that's all it was, yeah.
And did you
Total
get
drug.
was there any availability to help you get clean in your first term?
On the programs on level 3 and level 4 prisons are, there's not that many programs for, like,
Mm.
school or rehabilitation, none of that. It's like certain programming prisons, like say Donovan and San Diego are different programming prisons
Yeah.
where there's less politics and more jobs. They tend to have like more long distance schooling and more
Education.
programs and
Mm.
education and things like that because there's less problems, less lockdown, like um, all of that. Once you start going to more active prisons, because you're always locked down, it really messes with you being able to access different programs. So that a lot of times they don't even have it or they'll
Mm.
discontinue it.
Yeah.
Once you're on level 4, there are really no programs. It's just all because you're locked down the majority of the year. Majority of the time, it's always like racial stuff or like stuff like that, and super political. Where you're like, I mean, you might not be locked down like 2 months out of the year, something like that. So there's really no point in having any program because nobody can go to a program.
So what took you from that Nick
Yeah.
to spiritual Nick? Because you're like as spiritual as you can get.
What took me? It was all a beautiful process. I mean, at the time, it's maddening, and like I said, it was so stressful,
Yeah.
and um, yeah, it seemed to take forever, and you're just counting down the days, and then um, you get out of prison, it's like new lease on life, and then here's the thing where it's like the drugs and everything pop back up because I didn't know what was behind it. I
Yeah.
went to prison, been using since I was 13, didn't know what was behind it, went to prison, got out, and was like, "Oh, cool, I'm out. I'm changed." And you think that the willpower and the lust for life and appreciation for life is enough to be done with everything. But if you don't know what's behind what you're trying to disconnect or make easier, make feel better, it
Yeah.
it can happen just on its own, but most times it doesn't. I don't it's you need to
You
understand
need to dig
what
deep
the
on where
disconnect
it is.
is
Yeah.
and what you're trying to avoid and what feels nasty and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
And they didn't do any of this because you have to. Did you go to board or
I
did
didn't
you?
have to go to I didn't have to go to board, because I had a date, so I didn't need a parole hearing.
Oh,
So I didn't have new charges, I just maxed my time out, so I knew my exact date. I
right.
was getting out 5 years to the day.
So if you go to board, it's when you're kind of getting out
When
early.
y Yeah. When you're, I would assume I know boards for lifers that,
Mm.
they get a life sentence, whether it's I don't know if they still do that, 15 to life or
Yeah.
whatever. I know they did back in the day, but, you have to go to board and, if you've been clean and no write-ups and this and
'Cause
that,
that's
then
when you have to do the therapy
yeah.
and everything
Yeah,
else. So you didn't
me, it
get
was just
that.
especially state prison, which is
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
feel
there's
like everyone should do the therapy
of
because that's what
course,
you go through. You have to figure out where it
100%.
stemmed from.
Yeah, but you gotta remember in prison, I mean, you really have to be at that place to want to step out or feel safe enough stepping out of all the garbage in prison, and
Yeah.
because if you're in prison, especially if you have a long time to do, you're going to be wrapped up in the politics. You're
Yeah.
going to like if you got 10, 20 years, it's for your survival. It's like for you to flow, for you to have your tribe. Because if you have that long, it's like you're no matter what, you can't avoid the politics. Like
Yeah.
you're just part of it.
Yeah.
So some people get so wrapped up in it for so many years that it's hard to step out of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, for me, I'm like, I think it was the last year or something that just me single celled where it's like all I'm doing is thinking.
Yeah.
All literally nothing to do
In your
except
head.
think. And like, oh, what do I do when I get out? Or what about this or this and this and but um
So then you get out.
I get out, get out the second time. Um, and it took a while. Like the drugs stayed um real constant until it was my father coming down, not coming down, but showing a lot of signs of Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like I didn't want to use. It was like I would use and then I would hate using and I knew everything that come along with it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, all of a sudden you're paranoid and you don't want to do this. You want to I knew what it was. So you don't
Yeah.
act on it. You're like, okay, this is but you don't want to be social. You're not going out and oh, what's that? Hanging out with friends. Like you know, you're just high and you're just like in this world. But
Yeah.
and then when you're high, you don't want to do it anymore. And then when you're sober, it's like something would kick in so strong and you're like, I just got to use.
Yeah.
And so you don't know what's behind that, but my dad was a catalyst. I didn't want to get high for years, but my dad showing signs of Alzheimer's was something that really, I think it was so much shame
Yeah.
that it really kickstarted uh, me stepping out of my box. Where it was like, okay, now since I've been trying to stop from sheer willpower for the
Yeah.
last 15 years and it hasn't worked, let's actually just try whatever we can. So I was more open because of where things were at in my environment and with him that I started working with a teacher that I had no clue what she did, didn't care.
Yeah. Just
I was
leave
just
it.
open and I'm like, I obviously, okay, now I understand and I fully realize I can't do this on my own. And I say that, not that anything's out of your control,
Yeah.
but if tools are available and you aren't able to step out of what you're into, um, you might need, new insight or new
Yeah.
tools. I believe that we all do have the power to step out of addiction or step out of whatever we're into.
Yeah.
We all do have the power, but sometimes it takes a step like catching your breath,
Yeah.
separating yourself from whatever, like a tool or a hand, somebody like a helping hand, something to step out of this circle just for a sec to catch your breath,
Yeah.
and then So that's what it took for me, and I started working with a teacher. Um,
What was she a teacher in?
she does what's called remote quantum biofeedback. I know it's a long, a long
Yeah.
thing. That's what she does as far as that's her main thing.
Do you
And it
still
was
see her?
I actually met her for the first time in person a few days ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it
Is
since
that you've
I've
talked to
known
me
her,
about
she's
this
what
before.
started the ball rolling. Was such a priceless piece of my growth and such a powerful
And you'd
tool.
never physically in
Never
person met
seen
her?
her. We started working together remotely over the phone. And
Oh,
this is before COVID. So this is probably right after I started, you and I met. And I,
yeah.
I was doing your pool. And um, this was right before that, or right before COVID. So about I don't know, 6 years
Yeah.
ago, somewhere in there, where I started working with her. And she works through the belief system by, she shifts beliefs by shifting subtle energy. So
Yeah.
what I mean by that is the first question she asked me was, "Okay, what do you want?" And I said, "I want to stop using." And she said, "Okay, let me step in your energy and start testing statements and see where you stand with that. Like if your belief system is aligned with what you want." So everything she tested fell flat. There was nothing aligned with actually being sober.
Yeah.
So it was, do I feel safe with the idea of never using a drug again? No. Do I feel safe and comfortable in my environment, in the
Yeah.
relationship I'm in? No. Do I believe I have what it
Wait, is this
takes?
what you did for
This
me?
is what I did for
You
you.
did it and it
And this
was
is what I do for clients now
yeah, yeah, yeah.
at a
Okay.
detox and with my clients one-on-one where it's so powerful and it's so simple. Um it's just what do you want?
Yeah.
And then where's your belief system aligned with what you want or what you don't want?
Yeah.
It all comes down to safety. So the way she worked with me, I told you that where it's nothing was aligned. I didn't feel safe stopping. I didn't feel comfortable in myself. I didn't feel worthy or deserving to actually have what I viewed as a normal life.
Yeah.
Nothing in my belief system was aligned with feeling safe and empowered being sober. Nothing. So
Mhm.
I started working with her. A couple of weeks later, it just 4 days a week, a couple of weeks later, it made such a shift where
Mm.
I was able to get sober and have longer period. I mean, we're talking from a couple weeks to months and months and months, and then something would pop up and we'd address that. Like,
Yeah.
okay, what happened? We'd step in and address that, see what it was emotionally or energetically. And after that impulse just faded tremendously where it wasn't overpowering. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel this. Okay, now what's going on? Now I can actually sit with it. It's not so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So once I was to that point, I started really working with her, getting back to um, my true self and who I was, as a child before I
Yeah.
started forming all these beliefs where I started disconnecting.
Yeah.
And then the whole spiritual, side of everything just opened up. Now where it's like, oh, now I'm seeing spirits and I'm
That's
seeing orbs and
crazy,
this and
yeah.
that. And I'm like,
Because 'Cause I've only
okay,
ever really known you
yeah,
in that where you obviously you probably just started working with her
yeah,
as we met,
yes,
and then
yeah,
I came to you for that time because you did Reiki here for me
yeah,
way before that. Like, I think we met within the first, like, probably 6 weeks. I was like, "You
yeah.
come around, do some Reiki on me," which was weird because I remember you didn't touch
Yeah,
me, but I could feel, like, my muscles vibrating.
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is so
You're like,
strange."
okay, cool. He actually, yeah,
Yeah.
he can do
Yeah,
these
it
situations. Yeah,
works. But
yeah,
then when I came to your apartment to do the clearing of the code stuff,
yeah,
I don't know if you remember, you were asking me the questions, and I've had been, when I was younger, in an abusive relationship, and it has never really been, I dealt with it as I went along, but
yeah.
it's never really been a big problem in my life.
Mhm.
So that wasn't in my mind,
Yeah,
and I remember us, like, working on stuff. I can't, it was so long, a
yeah,
few years ago now, but I remember you saying, "Is there something you wanna clear?" But I think I remember saying to you, "Yeah, when, like, for some reason, when John, my husband,
uh-huh,
comes home, I used to get annoyed,
yeah,
and I didn't understand why, because there was no, why am I getting annoyed that someone walked through the door?
yeah,
And then through those questions, it stemmed back to my ex,
yeah.
and I'd, like, given him permission,
Yes,
and we did the
it's.
clearing of taken, and I'm not joking, I have never been annoyed,
I
and
love
it
that.
and that was like, we've been together, me and John, like, been married 10 years, but we've been together, like, 18 or something.
Yeah,
So he's walked through a door
yeah.
many
A couple of
times
times,
with me
yeah.
getting angry for it to just be gone.
Yeah,
Now he comes home and I'm just like, "Hey."
I love that.
Like, there's no irritation. It was like, yeah, it was like a weird annoyance that
Yeah,
then just suddenly had been released.
yeah.
It was very
I love that.
strange, but
Yeah.
it worked.
It is it's so powerful, yet it's so simple. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just
And you just asked
muscle
me these
testing.
certain questions that just
Yeah,
led me there straight
yeah,
away in my mind. I was like, "Oh, actually, no, that stems back to, oh, yeah,
yeah.
my abusive boyfriend who I've
100%.
never
Yeah,
talked
it's
about."
just stepping in your energy, your own energy,
Yeah.
me stepping in your energy and, just testing where you stand with things. You know what I mean? Testing different statements,
Yeah.
seeing what's what, where it's coming from.
And
Um,
then you took that into this, was it a sober living
it's a
house?
detox.
Detox.
I work with a detox in, San Diego. It's called Coastal Detox of, San Diego, and, it's I work with clients one-on-one there, usually every Friday regarding addiction or anything that's, stressing them out and, that we need to deal with. So every Friday, yeah, it's one-on-one and it's the opening, foundational question is, okay, do you want to stop using? Yes. Okay.
Mm.
Let's see where you stand with that. And it goes to feeling safe with the idea of sobriety, do you feel worthy and deserving to have a normal life? Do you feel safe identifying as um, just a sober individual, not as an addict, stepping away from the identity as an addict? It's
Yeah.
just being in their field and just testing and seeing where they stand. If we find something drops in energy, say as far as, okay, you do not feel worthy and deserving to live a quote, whatever their view of normal,
Yeah.
quote, normal life. Let's see, is there an emotional component? And this could be from trauma, big T or little t. Is there an emotional component, a negative or limiting emotion that we can harmonize that is contributing to you not feeling worthy and deserving?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then we'll find what it is, what
Work with
emotion it
that.
is. We'll harmonize it, clear it, and then we'll test, just keep working through the belief system. So it's a wonderful thing that I can help others with.
And they go through it and say it works for them, they leave,
Yeah.
they fall off the wagon, they go back again, they can just come back, go
Yeah.
through it
Yeah.
again.
Number, I mean, I've seen individuals work with them a couple times or work with them once. I've seen them not come back and for years not
Yeah.
come back, and then it's such a small circle, especially in an area or a beach area or
Yeah.
whatever. Such a small circle that you hear about people.
Yeah.
So you hear if people are doing good, if they're still
Yeah.
doing good, because this 6 degrees of separation, like this person knows this person
It's
that's
true.
sisters with
Yeah.
this person. There are individuals that we work together that I mean, they haven't been back, and there are others that do come back continually. And the beautiful thing is, always so excited to see them. Like when I see
That's
them,
nice.
I know the setting is not what they prefer, but I love,
It doesn't matter. It
yeah,
doesn't matter
working
if
with them
it's
and
your
getting to know
first
them, and like
time or
I'm
your
so happy to
5th
see
time.
them.
Yeah.
Um, and then first thing we do is just work on clearing any kind of
Yeah.
judgment, any kind
Yes.
of guilt, any kind of
'Cause
judgment.
they're gonna feel judged
Yeah,
that, like, "Oh god, I'm back." Like, it didn't work.
yeah.
Why, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is a failure. It's not a
Yeah.
failure. It's a process.
It
It's not
just
like
is.
win or fail. It's not a baseball game or, some kind of, it's
Yeah.
like, it's not win or fail. Life is not win or fail.
It's just your
So that's,
journey.
I want to make sure that they're rock solid on that they're
Yeah.
not judging themselves. They don't feel guilty for it. Whatever happened, the shame, any of that they're okay. They're back at the detox. Let's get them back being
Yeah.
present where there's no shame, no guilt, no judgment. You didn't fail. It's all part of a process.
Yeah.
And then so they can just be present and get everything they can from the
Yeah.
detox. So yeah.
That's really nice 'cause shame is
Oh, it's
just
huge.
huge. Like, it
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
people don't realize how big it can get, and of course,
Huge. Yeah.
you're getting shamed everywhere all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely, and I like the fact that it doesn't matter how many times I've done it, it just is what it
It
is.
doesn't. I mean, my I went to one detox that my mom, who was just overwhelmed when I was 16. I went to a detox when I was 16, the transition between living with my mother and then moving in with my father because I was just
Yeah.
too much to handle. But I didn't want to be there. I wasn't ready to stop. I didn't like all the drama that I was causing,
Yeah.
but I liked being
Yeah.
not present and high way more than
Yeah.
anything I was burning
You just weren't
or
ready
torching. I
then.
wasn't
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
So one detox, but I mean, my thing was, trips to county jail and where you're just like, you stop.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and now I am sober because I
Yeah.
have to be sober. Well, I guess
I mean, you have
if,
no
if you
option.
really didn't want to be sober, you could
Yeah.
not be sober in jail. But yeah, I'm like, okay, now I'm sober. And then so you get that length of time, whether it's a few days or a couple weeks. So mine wasn't detoxing, in a detox, it was jail
Yeah.
trips and all that. Yeah.
But that's beautiful because, yeah, like you say, you had to go through all that experience to get
Yeah.
to where you are, the understanding. That's crazy, and
Yeah.
everyone's journey is so different.
So different. Some people can be one and done as far as, using or whatever they're into or trying to get out of or whatever.
Yeah,
It can be one and done. Other people, it can be like for me, it was like a 15-year, you know, just roller coaster
yeah,
and it's everybody's different. It's what they need and
yeah,
how they grow. Of
and it can happen to anyone, like,
course.
it
Yeah. Here's
yeah,
a kid that, grew up in, like I said, the great area in San
yeah,
Diego, went from Coronado to Torrey Pines and like good
yeah,
areas where there's no gangs, there's no
yeah,
anything. And because of my subjective uncomfortability emotionally or trauma or, whatever, when
yeah,
I was younger, it's all subjective. It's like,
Which is funny because I'm was like you, and some people just have the personality to be drawn to stuff.
Yeah.
But I came from a middle area. It was not rich, not poor.
Yeah.
But I was the type of kid that would try everything. So once I got into like my teens, yeah, I was trying all the drugs there was
Yes.
to try. And not proud of it, but I did dabble with crack cocaine.
Good.
And I do remember, and I think it's personality, but also I kind of like the fact that my parents let me watch whatever I wanted, because this kind of shaped my thinking and it kind of saved me, because we smoked some crack in my bedroom,
Yeah.
and my bad boyfriend that you helped me with, and his friend went off to buy some more.
Yeah.
And I said, get me my own,
Yeah.
because I had been using some of theirs and they would get annoyed. So I was like, no, just get me my own rock.
Yeah.
And by the time, and we had smoked some, they left and it took like an hour or whatever. I had a really bad come down
Oh,
just
yeah.
from what I'd smoked, and it
Yeah.
churned my stomach and started really, I mean, I was
You're
literally in my
cold. You're
bedroom, my mum
cold,
and
and you're
dad are
like,
downstairs.
yeah.
I'm so young,
Yeah.
and I remember being like hitting the wall because, yeah, I was cold and my stomach was
Yeah.
hurting. And in my head, I was thinking, you've seen this on TV.
Yeah.
You're having you're having withdrawal symptoms. So luckily, that all happened within an hour. I was all on my own. I didn't call out to my mum or anything. They've come back to my house, up to my bedroom. They're like, "Hey, we've got you like this rock of crack." And I looked at them and I was like, "No, you're good. You have it." Like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going back up to
Yeah.
ever come down.
Yeah.
Like, and that was it
Good
for
for
me.
you.
That was it for
Wow.
me. I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm going into dangerous territory
Yeah.
now. Like, I think if I'd done it again,
Yeah.
I could have been then addicted and
Yeah.
down that path. I'm
Good for
so
you,
lucky
Vix.
someone was looking out for me to be like, okay, let me
Yeah.
give you a bit
You're
of
like, oh, you
test.
think you want to go here?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
let's
can
have you
do
go
it
here and see what happens. Yeah.
and you're going to do it all on your own.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
was very lucky, and after that, I said,
Good
"No."
for you.
My bad boyfriend, he continued on. I said to him, I was like, "You're going in a bad place."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, I'm only doing it on the weekends." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
I tried that. Yeah.
yeah."
Didn't work
We'll
out
see.
for me. I mean, for some people it works. For
Yeah,
me, it just doesn't work.
yeah, exactly.
Everybody's so
Everyone,
unique.
I mean, I'm lucky. I don't think I have an addictive personality, but someone else could. But
Yeah.
my point being, it can happen to anyone. My
Yes.
parents
Yeah.
were downstairs while their kid was smoking crack in the
Yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, it can
It
happen to
it
anyone.
can. It definitely can. It doesn't have to be, this major
Yeah.
trauma that happens, or living in an
Yeah.
environment where both your parents are, smoking crack or
No.
getting high.
I wasn't getting beat. My
Your
dad
your
didn't beat
parents
me.
are,
Yeah.
you're on the street all the time
No.
trying to fight. Like,
Mm-mm.
it doesn't have to be that bad.
No.
It's
I was in a very loving home, but my
me too.
personality was somebody that did want to test the boundaries.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was definitely testing the
Yeah.
boundaries. Any kind of, animosity or anything underlying with mom where, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that. Plus, I mean, for me, it was the biggest thing was just not feeling comfortable
Yeah.
in myself, in my environment, and not knowing what to do with that. It
Yeah.
was, I think that was probably one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's eye-opening, and
Yeah.
it's funny when we talk so much,
Yeah.
I never have time to really dig into all these questions.
Yeah.
Plus, we're normally talking about my kid, to be quite honest, all the trouble he's getting himself into.
He's amazing.
He's-
Yeah.
At least I know he's like me, so I can like steer him
There
on
you
the
go.
path.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, I can see. My parents didn't understand; they
Yeah.
were so like prim and proper. My mum was like church goer,
Yeah.
so at least now I can be like,
Like,
what's this
okay.
smell?
Yeah. It's like, Mom,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I know that smell. Like, I'll still walk
Yeah.
down the street now and be like,
Oh, totally.
oh, that's crack.
Hopefully not on this street.
Not on this street. However,
gonna say,
have
wait.
you never been here when cause got the whole people's home next door? They smoke weed.
Oh yeah, totally.
I go
Yeah.
outside and we go outside at night and I'm like, I am so high. Everything
Yeah.
about marijuana they smoke.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Thank you so much, and
Of
thank you
course.
for
Thank
being
you.
so open and vulnerable as
Anytime. Any
well.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah.
An open book.
Well, for me, any time would be next week when I see you
Oh,
outside and
I
we
love
start
it.
shooting the shit
Yeah. I
again,
love our time together. Definitely.
right?
Yeah.
No, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Vix. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
You've been listening to a Dogs Train Home podcast, where every story reminds us that second chances are real.